Continuing with focusing on the spirit and mind part of our yoga practice, I was reflecting on a conversation that I had with my sister cousin Linda, who is a kindred spirit as a yogi. And what came out of that conversation just was so powerful. It reminded me of a story. When I was a little girl, the kids, the kids who I played with on the playground always did this really cool thing when we were playing on this jungle gym on these monkey bars, where they would walk across and balance going across this bar and then walking back down the other side. And I just was in awe, and I thought, I want to try that. But the problem was I was afraid I was going to fall. Not only was I afraid I was going to get physically hurt, but I was afraid that people were going to laugh at me. Well, one day I mustered up the courage and I decided to try it. So I stepped on the bars, and one step at a time I wobbled and found my balance until I found myself at the top of the bars. I was so excited that I accomplished this. And then suddenly I looked down and realized I haven't completed my journey. I need to get to the bottom yet. And then I was gripped with fear. I looked around me and saw the kids kind of snickering and, waiting for me to fail, waiting for me to fall. And I got nervous, and I even welled up with tears. And I was so consumed with what everybody else was doing and what was going on around me, I lost my focus. And guess what? I fell. I got physically hurt, but more impactfully, I got spiritually hurt, and it just broke my spirit. And that seemed to be the trajectory for me, my narrative, and it was what dictated how I moved through life. I was so gripped with fear for experimenting with doing something new, and so I tended to play it safe. I could give you lots of examples and go on and on about that. That's not important. What's important is this. Fast forward to many, many years later, to a yoga class that I was participating in as an adult. The instructor was really, really tough, and she was really, really good. And all of the yogis around me were awesome, and I just tried to follow along, and I thought, okay, I'm just gonna try to do this. And then the instructor said, okay, let's shift into lotus pose. Well, if any of you have ever tried lotus, you know that it takes a tremendous amount of balance and strength to accomplish this. I wanted to play it safe because I didn't want to fall. I didn't want to be laughed at. I didn't want to fail. And I think that this was a very astute teacher, because she then said to the class, don't be afraid to wobble or fall. That's part of the yogic journey. That's part of the practice. If you fall, laugh it off. Get up. You at least are really working, and you're strengthening, and you will succeed. Then the next thing she did was she walked us through the process step by step. First challenging us to lift a foot and then put it down. Now lift the whole leg and put it down. Now lift the whole leg and see how long you can hold it there and put it down. And eventually I was able to almost get in the pose before I fell. And that was such a great lesson for me, because I realized that I could laugh at myself. And when I looked around at the other people in the room, they were laughing right along with me, not because of my falling, but because they fell too. And so we were in this journey together. So, what I learned from this experience is that I spent almost a lifetime allowing other people to dictate the choices that I made, playing it safe and not going out on a limb and taking a risk. And that really stunted my growth. And so, part of this yogic journey is to make a choice. Are you going to be that person who doesn't want to fall and get hurt and get laughed at? Or are you going to be that person who allows herself or himself to go ahead and fall, but fall with grace? And when I talk about falling with grace, I'm not talking about looking like this beautiful being as you're falling, but how you respond after you fall is what we're talking about. How can you gracefully fall? Can you acknowledge that you made a mistake? Can you say, that was awesome, I'm going to do it again until I get it right? Or are you going to be humiliated and walk away and never try it again? So that's your challenge for today, to think about the choices that you're making so that you can fall with grace,